we're at the 2025 Crop Consultant Conference, and I'm here with Jhalendra Rijal, and he's a UCCE farm advisor in Stanislaus in northern San Joaquin counties is your area. He just got done speaking about Carpophilus beetle. Can you just update us on the basics of some of your recent research, changes in activity you talked about, things like that?
Yeah, so a little bit background about Carpophilus beetle. We found officially in 2023 in multiple orchards in the middle portion of the San Joaquin Valley, mostly central San Joaquin Valley, I would say, and in northern San Joaquin Valley also. And so since then, we're seeing the damage mostly in almond orchards, but also in pistachio orchard too. Very rarely we're finding in walnut orchard, but pistachio and almonds are definitely susceptible. So since then, because it's a new pest, Australia almond industry had some experience of dealing with this pest in the last 10 years, which is at least they have some basic information we'll be able to get from their publications and then also talking to the scientists. And so that give us a little bit of the idea about this insect, and then we're start exploring about biology and all different aspects of things in Carpophilus beetle, Carpophilus truncatus in California. So since then, we're doing a lot of different research, figuring out their biology, field ecology, seasonal ecology, how we can potentially develop the monitoring tools. And then also if there are any other tools like insecticide and other things would work. So those are some of the area that we've been working on.
And can you talk about any new control methods? I know you mentioned a pheromone that you guys are seeing some good progress with.
Yes. So the pheromone it's a Carpophilus truncatus specific pheromone. So we're using it as a trap or the monitoring tool. So we have a bucket trap where the pheromone can put on, and we're collecting the beetles in big numbers. So it's certainly the pheromone trap that we're using has a co-attractant also, but it's in combination, it's working really well. But so far, again, we're using this as a monitoring tool. Potentially in the future, there might be the opportunity to work as a track and kill or bait type of thing. We're not there yet, but at least we have this pheromone now. It's not commercially available yet, but within the next 1 or 2 years, then I can imagine it will be probably commercially available and use it. So that's a monitoring tools we're working on. We're continuing doing that since last year. So trapping in almond orchard as well as a pistachio orchard and also a walnut orchard too. So that will give us a pretty good idea about the seasonal phenology as long as we're looking at those traps and the trap counts. The control option you mentioned, so far what we have seen and what colleague from the Australia also sharing is that the winter sanitation, the mummy sanitation is still the key. And based on my experience in the last 2-3 seasons in northern San Joaquin Valley, and a lot of orchard has the Carpophilus beetle damage. I visited several orchard. I also basically see that if you have a really good winter sanitation practices, then you will reduce that the pressure in the orchard and the damage. Because these Carpophilus beetle, they overwinter as an adult beetle in those mummy nuts they are left on the ground. And they actually build their population on the ground also until they're ready to infest on the hollow split nut. Because of that, you have that mummy nuts is really the source where they can breed and build their population and cause the higher damage. If you don't have the mummy nuts on the ground, then they don't have those population going into. So that's still the very foundation of controlling Carpophilus beetle. I've said it several places, several times, but based on what I've seen in highly infested orchard, I can't imagine controlling Carpophilus beetle without doing the winter sanitation. That's the basis. That's the first thing. Yeah.
It's not the only beetle that we're trying to control. At the same time, we deal with now, and you talk about sanitation for other pests as well.
That's very true. So navel orangeum, we know that it's a key pest, and every year we're dealing with it. It's also the winter sanitation is also the best practice. You're not only controlling Carpophilus beetle, but also navel orangeum with the one stone, two birds. So really, that should be the basic standard practice that at least the almond, pistachio, nut crop grower should adopt, because with the Carpophilus coming into play, I don't think that there is much chance you can effectively control Carpophilus without doing the winter sanitation, I would say.
So just keep driving home the point that sanitization is key. And you talked about a guideline. I think another thing that growers need to know is how to identify these different pests. So you said you guys have a guideline. Where can they find that?
That's right. So yeah, we do have this pictorial guidance to differentiate navel orange with the Carpophilus and the ant damage with the Carpophilus and that kind of thing. A lot of pictures in there, and even larva insect stages and how we can differentiate and the damage. And yeah, they can find those in the, if even they can Google it, the guideline for Carpophilus beetle in California orchard. It's also housed in one of my website, the ipmcorner.com. Also, it's also replicated or put out by the Sacramento Valley Orchard Source, that UC University California Orchard website. And so you can find in there too.
Okay, and I imagine they can find any other updated research on this that you spoke about today, or past research on the Carpophilus beetle?
Yes, they can find those sources from there also. And if anybody, they can contact their local farm advisors or contact me or some other people just if they need more information. And
I believe there was about 5 people listed on this research, so there's a whole lot of you on it.
Definitely, it's a group effort because it's become all of a sudden it become a bigger issue we cannot tackle in one way. Plus, also, I'm up and down the valley. There is a lot of variability in terms of the environment. And then the Carpophilus beetle seems to be highly influenced by that because it's less rain, more rain. If there's a lot of rain in the winter and summer, you expect more Carpophilus, right? So, for example, Sacramento Valley versus down in Kern County, there is already always difference in terms of rainfall and those things. And so that's why we kind of team up and doing this work up and down the valley.